let's do an update. Unscripted, raw, live. My phone's probably going to crash because it's almost 4 years old. This is my 75, as is probably apparent if you've seen anything on any of my aquariums. And it is doing pretty good. Considering most of my plants have died, the ones that are still alive are becoming quite hardy. I'm doing pretty well. Like my wisteria is coming in nicely. I've got floating lettuce up there that I'm hoping will do well, and it has some algae growing off it, because why not? And my cardinals are doing okay. I don't know the names of these plants. Whichever one is that long one with the little leaves up there. It's growing from way in the back, and it has one line that shot off along the ground and is producing a lot of these really, really cool little growths. Very excited about that. I did transplant some pearlweed in here. A little bit right there. One little piece right there. And a little bit over here that's starting to come out a little bit. Just enjoying watching this to see how it does. But yeah. The plants that are in there are doing pretty good. Some of them not as good, but I am not complaining. I wanted to add more shrimp now that my flagfish is in another aquarium. But I don't know how badly I want to with the pH being unpredictable. I might just leave it. I might add botanicals or something. I have not completely decided on a course of action for the whole pH rising situation. But I really am enjoying watching this as time goes on. I had the lids off for quite some time so that I could get the duckweed out. I believe it's been now about a month. I believe I've gotten all of the duckweed out. I'll give it a few, and if I need to, I can take the lids back off and do some more. But yeah, I have been dropping the occasional MTS in here, Malaysian trumpet snail, hoping to reestablish a population because they all died. I think it was the sand, actually. As the sand was mixing with the water and soaking longer, I think it started to mess too much with the pH or something. I don't know. Whatever is causing the pH to rise so drastically, I'm assuming, I don't know, but I think it just wreaked havoc on all of my little MTSs that were in there. But I have a healthy population in a couple other aquariums, and I've been grabbing one every now and then and dropping it in here. Really hoping to reestablish that. I got some Scud balls from Phillips Fish Works that I dropped in there, and if I come up here in the middle of the night when the tank is asleep and all of my cardinals are no longer in hunting mode, I can watch the little scuds bouncing around along the substrate. It's pretty cool. I would love to get some freshwater clams. That is and has been on my purchase wish list for quite some time. But they're like $5 for 25 on eBay with like $10 shipping or some crap like that. I can't find a local seller. But I just looking at all this detritus along the bottom, you can see now that it's starting to slowly make its way down, filter through the sand. But it would just be really cool to give an animal a new home that is purpose-built for filtering out a lot of this stuff. Most of this detritus is not from the fish. It's from dropping in leaves, scrub oak leaves mainly, that just rapidly decayed or broke down over a couple of weeks. I have an inkling that could have caused my MTS to die as well. Too much biomatter too fast. I don't know for sure. It is getting broken down further, slowly by little bit by little bit. But anyway, just wanted to give a little update. This tank really is a lot of fun to watch. I know it's not the most beautiful tank on the interwebs, but it is just really cool to watch it mature. Really just love this tank. I want to get some more fish in here. Budget is extremely tight. I updated above in my Father Fish member channel that Lydia was diagnosed with Marfan syndrome. So new fish is not on the menu for quite some time, because Marfan is a kind of an expensive and terrifying diagnosis. So we gotta figure that crap out first. One little update that I am very excited about: my Bacopa caroliniana, whatever that word is. I got that plant back in March, early March, I think, from PetSmart. I planted it in first. Let me bring you around. I planted it first in this aquarium, which is perpetual green water, but otherwise perfectly healthy. It has, anyway, I planted it in here. This was my Blue Dream shrimp tank. I am starting to think that perhaps the sand cap was punctured, and that's why the water is so green all the time. I just haven't wanted to do a water change large enough to actually be able to see the substrate well enough to know. And I have scuds in here. Dropped a scud ball in, and it's really fun to watch. They'll swim along this front here every now and then, and I'll catch them. They are doing really well in there. There's plenty to eat in there. Lots of plant or leaves and things like that. Anyway, so I planted the Bacopa in here initially, and I had some Danios in here, zebra Danios, and the Bacopa didn't grow, but it didn't die. And so I planted it in this aquarium when I first set this one up. It was one of the first plants in here, and it is finally starting to grow. It has been in that corner in that exact shape, size, for 5 months, and it was supposed to be a fast growing plant, at least a medium growing plant, but it is finally starting to grow. That right stalk has several new leaves on it. You can kind of see down lower where the original leaves are. Oops. Be a better cameraman, Daniel, gosh. And you can see the bigger leaves above. That is all new growth in the last month. So it's been really fun to watch as it starts to take off. The wisteria has been an absolute pleasure to watch grow. I love wisteria. I think it might be my favorite plant. Pearlweed used to be, but pearlweed grows really fast and requires too much taking care of, I think. I don't know. It's fun to take care of, but it's just a time thing that, I don't have a lot of time. I'm also loving this one. It's snaking along the bottom. But yeah, I'm glad I was able to get what I got while I had the means, because they're all going to be like this for quite some time, I think. Just gonna have to wait and let the tanks grow and mature on their own for a while and see what I get over time. Yeah. Let's go ahead and take a quick gander at my white cloud minnow tank. Swing above my work stuff. White cloud minnow tank. These fish are happy as little clams. The pearlweed I trimmed down, and everywhere I've trimmed it, the plants have started to die just a little bit. I wonder if it spread too quickly and exhausted the soil layer underneath the sand of nutrients. I don't know for sure. These little minnows, though, they are fun to watch. They don't mate. They're not so wild about mating ever since I added the pearlweed, though. Like, when I first put them in this tank, they were going crazy mating in the weeds when it was just little bunches. But ever since it's grown in a bit, and they've been in there for a while, they have not been interested in mating. And so I'm not sure what to do there. There's no heater in this tank. It's cool to the touch. I would guess it's probably upper 60s Fahrenheit, upper teens Celsius. But yeah, I put my flagfish in here, my shrimp devouring flagfish, and she's been happy in here. I've considered re-adding her to my 75, even though it took me forever to get her out of it, simply because that tank has an enormous amount of hair algae growing around it, and she kept that completely down. I'm not sure, but she seems to be doing okay in this tank. Anyway, that is my update for now. I'm interested in anybody's thoughts on any of my tanks that I've shown, and happy to try anything people suggest. Or at least think about it. I'm not going to try if Rich tells me to take all my fish and put them in one tank. Not happening, Rich. I like having them separate. Plus, you need more tanks, mister. I've got 3,000 fish in a 75-gallon tank and 400 plants in there, and they're all happy and... Oh? Yeah. I was going to say more in that joke, but got distracted by a couple of minnows showing off for each other. They're silly fish. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Those are the things I think I'm supposed to say at the end of a video. You don't have to do any of those if you don't want to. Oh, I did want to say, I put scuds in here, scud balls in here, and only ever saw one scud in here and thought that they were extinct. I had placed scud balls in all of my tanks from an order I got back in July, but I think that the scud balls baked because I only ever saw one scud in this tank. So I talked to Tony over at Phillips Fish Works, and he actually sent me new scud balls because it was probable that all of the scuds died in transit. Because when I opened the bag, it had a really nasty smell. I did know at least one survived because I put it in this tank, and I saw one swimming around. I don't know if you can see the scud ball back there. There's one there, and there's another one back on the other side. So, when I got those scud balls, I added one to this tank, that one there, and then I added I added like 7 to this tank, as I said. But I did not add any back into this tank. And the other day, I was working, just minding my own business, and saw movement out of the corner of my eye, which most of the time I ignore because it's usually the fish, but it was lower. And I looked over, and there was a little scud bouncing along, right along the bottom there. So the one scud ball that I put in here might have only had a handful of Scud in it. The other Scud balls I never once saw a single Scud from, but I think I did have one successful Scud ball, and it's in this tank. I haven't seen any more since then, but I mean, months later, there's probably a population hiding underneath. I mean, I've got leaves down there for them to munch on. So hopefully they're okay. And that is going to be the actual end of my rambly video that I somehow managed to end several times and then keep talking on. Such is the way of the ADHD.